I began trading full-time exactly 9 years ago, more or less a few months, right here in the city in Shanghai in China. Today I'll share with you that story and how I began and why I'm back 9 years later and what my progress has been like in 9 years of trading full-time. Let's jump into it. It's very cool to be back here in Shanghai. I really love the city and I haven't been back here for a long time. And this is really where all began for me, all my full-time trading. Back in 2017, I basically bought a one-way ticket to Shanghai, started trading and traveling. I had been trading back then for about 4 years and I had some good results. I was profitable. I wanted to be able to trade and travel without worrying about having a full-time job. So I just did it. And back then I was trying my best to keep the costs in check because my income was decent, but not high. I knew that I couldn't live in Canada or like in a city where cost of living is very high. So I had to go to Asia to start to travel. And it was really a cool thing to do. I was staying in like hostels and cheap hotels and try to make my way through trading on a daily basis, plus traveling and seeing the world. And it was a really awesome experience. But it wasn't always pretty. There were some times that were quite discouraging that I felt like I wanted to give up, that I actually had to go back to Canada, back home to stay with my parents for a while, because I couldn't sustain trading full-time, and I'll kind of share all of that today with you. So this is where it all started. Actually, this is where I used to be. I used to stay here at this hostel here at the back I stayed here for a while. This is the very first place I was trying to trade and travel, where I stayed. I guess there's nothing left here anymore, definitely. But yeah, it's been a fun experience, and definitely it's been a lot of fun trying to do these videos, trying to make it work here. I want to come back and see how is it, and it's definitely nothing here. But that's kind of where I started. So you can see from humble beginnings to where we are today. So let's go back at the hotel and I'll show you where we are now. I mean, something that people ask me a lot is, how do you know when you're ready to trade full time? For me, it was pretty simple because I didn't really have a job. I was basically a university student. I just graduated. I had internships, but I really didn't work like full time for multiple years. I didn't have a family, of course. I was around 22 at the time. And for me, it made sense to just go and try it out. And worst case, if I didn't make enough money, well, I had some savings and I could kind of survive it. I feel like it's a very personal decision to decide when you want to go full time, but I also feel like you gotta sometimes push yourself a little bit, be uncomfortable. You don't have to always be on the very safe side. Now, if you have a family, of course, it depends. It will be different. If you are trying to pay the bills for your children or for your whole family, it's going to be, of course, way different. But I think that you got to push yourself a little bit. And when you get to these uncomfortable challenges and these difficult situations, that's where you really kind of thrive and find solutions to your problem. Right when I started to trade full time, so when I first got to Shanghai, I realized that the very first morning after I got here, I was trying to trade the Asian session. That was my key strategy back then. That was the thing that made me the most money, is day trading these kind of breakouts in the Tokyo session. So I woke up, I got to the charts at the little kind of living area they had at the hostel that I was staying at. And I started to look for trades. Now I was so confused because first of all, the jet lag was kind of crazy, but also because I was in a completely new place, different time zone, different kind of routines. And it really didn't take long for me to quit day trading at that time. Why? Well, because I realized that I was wasting a lot of time on the chart. I want to be able to walk around and see different sites in the city and come here at the Bund, which we're staying at now, which is really beautiful. I want to be able to just like try things out. I didn't want to be at my chart for 4 hours a day in the morning. Trading the 15-minute chart for me was basically a thing that could take 2 hours on a good day, but on a bad day, it could take 4 hours. Or on a day where I couldn't find any trade, I would stay there and look at the chart and see if I could catch a trade anyway. And it would kind of just lead to me wasting a lot of time and not being able to travel and go out. So about a week into my full-time trading experience, I quit day trading and I focused only on swing trading. These kind of more medium-term time frame move, which wasn't that much better, to be fair. I think swing trading is very much easier to manage, but the only issue is that you have to look at a chart throughout the day sometimes. So I was trading the 1 hour chart and the 4 hour chart, and that means I had to, every 4 hours and usually 1 hour or two, go and check the charts. I did try my best to use alerts. I did try to look at which trade could happen throughout the day and kind of be able to pinpoint those down and write these down in the notebook and then go back later to check the charts. That helped a little bit, but the main issue I had is that I would have to wait through the candle close, look at the chart, and decide if I want to place a trade. So every 2-3 hours, you see me run to a coffee shop or stop at a corner of the street to check the charts. Sometimes on my phone, trying to see if the trade showed up, and it was annoying. It was tough. Then I realized too that, well, when you travel, when you're on a plane, when you're on a boat, when you're on a train sometimes, you cannot always take trades that show up in the day. So I missed a lot of trades. And that's really where I started to work on my algos and tools to be able to alert me of trades that I kind of custom coded, and tools to eventually be able to trade for me too. Now, the first experience of trading full-time lasted about 3 months before I ran out of money. And before I tell you about it, if you want to learn my strategy, you want to kind of see how I trade these days, and it's the same strategy I've been using since I started to trade full-time. You want to go back and see how I trade? Check out the first link below. It's going to give you access to a course where I teach you my strategy step by step, the Bollinger Reversal. I still trade it today. I traded it back then. That was my main core strategy. It's been with me all these years. I added a few tweaks over time and I kind of made it better, a bit more optimized over time. And that's what you'll learn in the course. But if you want to learn this for free, check out the first link below. You get access to that course and you can learn all the rules and all the stuff. I don't kind of hide this from anyone. It's very much there to help people to learn and to apply the strategy if they want to. And it's free, so check it out. And I want to tell you how this all kind of crashed and how I was able to not make it more than 3 months. So like I said, I moved from day trading to swing trading. Swing trading was something I always did even before that, way before that. But it didn't take long for me to hit a drawdown. And it didn't take long for me to realize that I was missing trades quite a lot because of the traveling. And I was also kind of getting scared of missing trades. So I traded my strategy and then I kind of got no trades for a while. Maybe for like a week and a half. No big deal today. Like I wouldn't care about it. I wouldn't think about it twice. But back then it was a big deal because trading paid for my expenses. So I started to look at other time frames and then other assets and then other patterns that I knew a little bit more about. And all this led to basically me hitting a drawdown. Now, I wasn't kind of completely reckless. My risk was in check. But all these other patterns and tools I was looking at kind of made it that my edge disappeared. I wasn't really good at these patterns. It wasn't my core strategy. It was something that kind of I didn't really know fully. And I didn't really kind of test these different assets well. I didn't know if my strategy would work well on them. So after a few months of doing this, well, I got into maybe a 12% drawdown, which is nothing big. It's still kind of very manageable, but it got me scared. I got back home to my parent and tried to fix that drawdown for myself. Now, the cool thing about having your whole trading journey on YouTube is you can actually go back and kind of see that. And I cringe when I see these videos, but they're there on YouTube if you want to watch them. So I will leave below a video I've done way back then about how I fixed my drawdown. I basically printed all my trades down on paper. I got to annotate all of them, see on which ones I made mistakes, and try to figure out what I was doing wrong. That single thing really helped me to print out my trades. I know people wouldn't do this today. It's not a common thing to do, but it really works. If you're on a drawdown now, go watch that video. I know it's cringe, it's gonna be very old, but maybe you'll get something useful out of it. And next thing I gotta talk about here is how I got capital to really level up my lifestyle. So I didn't really cover this very well, but back when I was trading full-time, back when I started to travel and trade, actually before that I got some funding from an investor. Prop firms back then weren't a thing. It wasn't like a popular thing at all. There were these kind of fund accounts you could buy. You could pay like $5,000 to get a line of credit, basically like an account you could trade with. And then if you had losses, they would take them on your $5,000 that you paid for. Yes, you will get more capital, but you'll be responsible for all the losses on the account. And that to me felt scary, so I never really went down that path. But I was going to a trader meetup in Montreal. I eventually got to be the organizer of that meetup with another trader that I knew at the time. And that allowed me to meet a lot of people. I met a guy who wanted me to trade for him, gave me some capital. I would basically trade on his account. And he would share the profits with me on his account. At first it wasn't that big, it was maybe around $7,000, but eventually it got up to a bit more than that. And I could make some good returns with it. My risk would be very small, so all the drawdowns that I faced on my own account, I didn't really face them on his account, plus I was a lot more tight on his account with the rules and the trades I would take. So I didn't really have the same issues on his account. I was making some decent money with it, and it would allow me to increase my returns and kind of get paid and pay my bills too. I think it's a good way to start. I think this is really the path for most people, even nowadays, but with prop firms it's a lot easier. You can just go and trade a fund account and buy it online and kind of be done with it. Back then you really had to kind of make your way through it and prove other people you can actually trade live and that you can do it well, and then they will give you some capital. Now this stuff still happens today. You can still get a investor to fund you if you want, but I want to make sure that you understand that this is really how I began, and that's what allowed me to trade full time. I wouldn't be able to kind of fund my own account if I didn't have this investor's capital. Eventually I took these profits, most of them, reinvested back into my own account. As I made more return, that would of course compound and get bigger over time. And that's really how I was able to fund my own account too, with my trading and the trading I was doing for the investor. Now I could sit here and kind of tell you the story for multiple hours. There's a lot of stuff that happened. And of course, this is only the first maybe 6 months to a year of what I was doing trading full time while traveling in Asia. I think it's important to share the challenges here because trading is a real thing and I don't want to make it sound fake like other guys on YouTube. I went through all this. It took me many years. It's on YouTube. If you want to have a look at it, you can go back and see my videos. I don't delete them even if it's cringe and really old because it's part of my journey. And I think it's important to have it and be transparent about it on YouTube. But I want to end up with some lessons here that I took from this now about 9 years of trading full time, 13 years of trading overall. First things first is I think all your goals can be achieved. It just takes time and it might not be on your timeline. I talk with guys who, especially yesterday, I had a chat with a student of mine who's in Shanghai also at the same time. He set some goals for himself to achieve in trading. And his goals are awesome, but understand that goals, even though you set a timeline, you will probably achieve them. It just might take more time than you thought to achieve them. It's very tricky to set a timeline for that goal to be achieved by then. I know it's like very motivational and yes, it makes sense, but it doesn't mean that because you set a timeline for this date, it will be achieved on that date, right? All my goals, I achieved them, but not on my own timeline, on whatever timeline they came to happen. And I think that's just part of it. You gotta give yourself time. And the other thing is be consistent. I think that too many people are not consistent enough. They should try something for a while. If it doesn't work, they should try something else. And I think you gotta kind of stick to it for a long time. You really have to become the expert at your own style in trading. You gotta develop your own edge over time. It's cool to take something from someone else. Of course, you can learn strategies and that's all really, really useful, but make it your own. Make it where it makes a lot of sense to you and make it where you can actually stick to it and you understand it more than anyone else. That's very important, I think. And the next thing is you gotta be wise financially. I think all trading success long-term comes from how good you are with finances, how good you are with kind of planning for your wealth. It's not just about making money in the market now and kind of being able to make 10% a month every month. It's how you will actually grow your account, how much you will reinvest of it, how much you will grow your capital, and what assets other than trading you invest in the future to be able to compound your wealth. Too many people have this one-sided view of trading where it's like only you make money now and then that's it. Then you can spend it next month. But there's actually more parts involved into it. There's actually more about trading than just trading. There's a lot of stuff about wealth management that frankly no one talks about. And if you want me to do more videos on that in the future, I think it's so important. It's really where I'm really focused. Most of my energy now is more about building wealth rather than just trading. So if you want to see more videos on that, comment with wealth below and let me know you want to see more videos on that. I will definitely do my best. That's really what I'm focused on these days. It's not about just trading returns and strategies and stuff, but how to actually grow my money over time with more than just trading. Trading is still a big part of what I do, but there's more to it for sure. So let me know in the comment section below and I'll be happy to do more on that. But my last advice here is really don't underestimate the power of scaling up. I know most people talk about how to get profitable online, like all the gurus on YouTube, all the content's about how to get profitable, how to take the strategy and kind of make millions with it. But they don't tell you about how to scale up your income, how to go from 2K a month to 5K a month, how to go from 5K to 15K a month, how to grow your income that way. I had a chat about this yesterday with a student of mine also that wants to go from $5,000 a month to about $15,000 a month and beyond. And he really didn't know how to scale up. Do you have to trade more? Do you have to look at more strategies? Do you have to implement more trades? And usually it's not about that at all. It's about something different. You won't get more money by just trading more. In fact, you probably get more money by trading less and focusing on your connections, your capital, the people that you surround yourself with, and your mindset also. It's only a mindset shift that allows you to go from $2,000 to $10,000 a month. And you got to be able to get that mindset and apply it to trading correctly. And that's how you scale your income. Again, I should do more videos on that. I'm guilty of it too. I know people ask questions about how to get profitable, how to start trading, but there's a lot more power into how to actually scale up. It's just that it's a very limited audience. But if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section below. As always, I'm here to see your comments. I read all of them. I might not answer all, but I'll try my best to answer most of them. And here's a video YouTube think you will like next. Check it out over here in the corner. And I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.